Nice to meet you, Finn.
Good to
Been a
meet you.
fan of your work for a while now.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, now Westhampton has a very specific tone. It's part mystery and part character study. What was it about the script that made you think, yeah, I want to do this?
I was really into the restraint of the script, and I think
Hmm.
there's a quietness and sort of lack of embellishment that you see in the movie. And that was also in the script. The script was very kind of sparse,
Right.
and yes, a little spooky and a little mysterious. And I was very interested in kind of playing a character that most of his internal life stays internal. Like
Mm.
he's not that expressive in his words or anything else. And it's like I was very interested in sort of finding a way into a quieter, tortured guy that didn't really know how to let it out, and like to see if I could pull that off.
Right. Now the film also has a strong sense of place. How did the environment of the town sort of shape your performance?
Yeah, I was very meta. I mean, we were literally in Westhampton shooting a movie called Westhampton, and the movie that I make inside the movie is called Westhampton. So
Hmm.
obviously, Christian, our director, w was dealing with some Westhampton issues of his own, and also the town. We think of the Hamptons as like a summer beach town, but we were in. It was it was October, and so it was like off season. It was fall. It was foliage. It was kind of cold and very kind of empty, and the landscape really becomes a bit stark at that time of year.
Hmm.
And the tourists go away, and so it was much more kind of emptied out. And so the feeling of being in a small town off season was just right there in front of us. And the people
Right.
of Hampton were at first a little unsure about us, I think. But thanks to people like RJ Mitty who just like charmed them all, they grew to appreciate us there, I think, by the end.
Good. Now you're from Massachusetts, but I believe that you were even younger than when you moved away than your character was. But have you ever been back to Lennox? And if so, did it feel a little bit weird to sort of go back in time like that?
I now go back a lot. I have a house there, and I go whenever
Okay.
I can. I love the Berkshires. But yes, I remember the first time I went back, having not been for a while. It is like, it's like everything looks smaller. Like
Hmm.
everything looked so giant when I was a kid, and then it's like, oh, this is just a place like any other. Because in your mind it becomes so mythical. I didn't walk into the same minefields that Tom is walking through.
True, definitely not. Well, there's a subtle tension between the nostalgia and unease throughout the movie. How much of that was in the script, and how much of that did you just sort of bring to it?
A lot I did feel in the script. Again, it's like the script was a lot was like happening off the page, but the nostalgia, yes, and the unease are definitely there. I just knew that just like knowing what his past was and what he was dealing with, it's like coming back to the exact place where the crime happened, which is the
Mm.
place you've been running away from your whole life. And it's like you have to come back to where the wound began to heal the wound in some way. Yeah, I was just trying to kind of get to the bottom of what he was going through and how he's been trying to like not really heal all these years. He's basically trying to escape from himself, and turns out like yourself is the one thing you can never escape from.
That's true. Now, you've said in the past that you were interested in directing, and now, what was it like to play a director, even though he sort of was going through a bit of a rough patch there?
Yeah, I thought about that a lot. I watched Christian direct a lot. It was a great education to sort of watch the way he put the movie together. I really appreciated how thought through everything was. There was like there was no figuring it out on the day. It was all very like meticulously planned out beforehand. And yeah, that taught me a lot. And yeah, and it is fun to play a director and think about the way he was. Although I don't think Tom is maybe the director you want to emulate.
Probably, probably not. Well, has acting in projects like this shaped your vision of the type of films that you'd like to do as a director?
Yeah, definitely. I think the word restraint, which Christian uses, is really something I'm really interested in. And it's like how how little do we have to move the camera or have another scene, or how economical can we be in terms of how to get the story across in a, like in an efficient sort of bare bones way. Because it makes you, I think, have to really buckle down and like make the story as tight as possible to do that like that way. And that's always the movies that I like the best. So yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Well, you've sort of grown up in the public eye, but your choices have always been consistently sort of eclectic. You've done stuff like horror, drama, animation, music. How do you decide what's next for you?
You know, I'm in a place in my career where things sort of just I'm not really choosing between multiple projects. I'm like something comes and it's either like yes or no. And often it's yes, and it's like that's the thing that I was supposed to do. You sort of have to have a kind of belief in some higher power that like the
Yeah.
next thing is gonna fall out of the sky and it's gonna be the thing you're supposed to do. And generally that's been the case. I've been very lucky that way.
On a variation of that, you've got this very normal guy next door type of look, and yet you've had a tendency to play some extremely troubled, even occasionally rather disturbed characters. Is that
Yeah.
something that you've found interesting as an actor and you were looking for, or is it just sort of happened that way?
It it sometimes questions yourself because you're like, why do I keep getting these parts that are totally insane? What does it say
Yeah.
about me? Because I think of myself as pretty level-headed. I think I do respond to the the more outside of the box characters. I think that that's just where I feel like I'm able to flex my muscle in some way, or just what sort of it's what titillates me. It's what gets me going. It's like to do something that's extreme, I guess, by normal life standards.
Hmm.
I don't know where that comes from, to be honest. Maybe it's because I try to kind of live a normal, level-headed life in my real life, and so that's where I get the yayas out.
Well, I know that the character that you're playing next, I think is probably a little bit more normal. The movie about Milton Hershey, which I actually
Hershey.
happen to live about an hour away from it, and I do know one of your producers,
Oh,
Mary Allo. So
yeah.
I've been really looking forward to this film. What can you tell me about it?
It was an amazing experience and education for me to learn about Milton Hershey and sort of um, what an incredible guy he was at a time when uh, the Carnegies and the um, for all those Gilded Age titans of industry were kind of creating a lot of slums and kind of treating their workers terribly and kind of destroying the environment. He he was like kind of created a little utopia, Hershey,
Mhm.
Pennsylvania, and
Right.
insisted on paying people a decent wage, and I think that there was insurance, and he built them housing, which still exists today, and then
Hmm.
made Hershey into a destination. It's like an amusement park.
Right.
And he has this. At the time, it was an orphanage school for boys, and now it's still the Hershey School, which he put in like hard in stone in his legal will and stuff that like a portion of proceeds have to go to the school, and it still exists today, and it's like huge success story, and it's like, oh right, you can be a millionaire and be a decent human.
Yeah,
So
imagine
that
that.
that's I wasn't sure it was possible, but this movie made it clear that it is.
Do you have anything else coming up?
Um, I I do, but it hasn't been quite announced yet, so I need to hold off
Okay.
telling you about it.
I
But
totally get that.
things in the pipeline, I'll tell you that much, Jay.
One last question before you go. If audiences walk away from Westhampton with one lingering question, what do you hope it'll be?
Oh, a question.
Hmm.
Um, I hope the question is, what will Tom do next?
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me. This was really great, and I really enjoyed the movie. Best of luck
Thank you.
with it, and
Thanks
I'm
so much.
looking forward to Hershey as well.